Hi, it's Jessica from Greenlight Bookstore doing some hand selling from home once again. Since we can't get to the shelves at Greenlight Bookstore as we're closed right now, I've been raiding my own shelves for books that have been resonating for me right now, especially ones that seem to speak to this current moment that I want to talk to somebody about and I would love to share with all of you. We miss our customers, and this is our way of talking to you about the books that we love. I've been looking at some nonfiction that seems like it's particularly illuminating at the moment. One of the things I've noticed is being at home 24 hours a day, you get a different sense of your own body and your own patterns. What things are like in the morning might not be what things are like in the evening. So it made me start to think about this book that I read a couple of years ago by Jennifer Ackerman. It's called Sex, Sleep, Eat, Drink, Dream. It's not really about sex so much. That's definitely in there. But this is a book about circadian rhythms, about our body's sort of biological adaptation to the 24-hour day cycle, and how we change and adapt to what time of day it is. So, I mean, it goes beyond that. There's so much interesting stuff about human biology in here. I had an old bookseller colleague who called it a book full of fun facts to know and tell. So it's definitely good for Zoom cocktail parties. You'll have lots to talk about. Like I learned that you're taller when you first wake up because gravity hasn't been pulling down on you all night long. I learned about the human ear and its uniqueness in picking up one sound in a sea of sounds. There's so much that's interesting about here that sort of can help us get back in touch with ourselves and with sort of the miraculousness of just this self-contained organism. So it's fascinating stuff, totally worth reading and worth sharing. This one is a book that I'm actually reading right now, The Mushroom at the End of the World, subtitle On the Possibility of Life in Capitalist Ruins by Anna Lowenhaupt Tsing. This was recommended to me from a couple of really wildly different sources, and I finally picked it up. And it's a book that's written in fragments. I'm reading it in very small doses because I'm very easily distracted, but it's sort of meant to be read that way, I think. Tsing is a kind of sociologist, and it's structured around this one particular mushroom that's a delicacy in Japan, but that only grows in forests that have been disturbed by human actions. So it's about the strange sort of in-between spaces where people harvest those mushrooms. A lot of times they're people who are forgotten or overlooked in societies. So it's a book that's full of a strange kind of hope. It's about the brokenness of the world and the possibility that it might not ultimately be fixable, but that in the brokenness there are these spaces for collaboration and connection and creativity where mushrooms and humans and other kinds of beings can find ways to thrive. So it's fascinating and thought-provoking stuff, and there's lots to think about. And then the last one is one of my all-time favorite books in any genre, The Book of Delights by Ross Gay. This doesn't actually look much like the actual book that you'll find in the store. The actual book, I think, looks more like this poster that I have up here, which is one of my prize souvenirs from the store. We hosted Ross Gay for an event for this book a year or two ago, and he's just the most amazing person.
Doesn't that sound delightful?
He's a poet who writes often about gratitude, and this book, The Book of Delights, started as kind of an experiment to write every day about something that he found that delighted him. And that sounds maybe a little naive, but it doesn't come off that way. There's a lot of grief in the book. There's a lot of awareness of injustice and of loss, but there's also this just constant awareness of delight. I have my favorite parts in it. There's an entry on janky, just like the word janky, but also the way that humans can make do and put things together in random ways and how wonderful and endearing that is. There's an entry about taking a tomato plant on an airplane that can move me to tears. Like, you have to read it to understand it. So you can dip into this book, you can read it all in one sitting. You could read it every day like a devotional. I think that would not be the worst thing to do. I feel like Ross Gay is the one who's going to get us through this. So this one's fantastic. I hope you enjoy those books for this present moment, hand selling from home. You can find these books on greenlightbookstore.com, actually at greenlightbookstore.com/Jessica. You can find all of the books I've recommended. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, we'll appreciate it, and you'll get more videos like this. You can also find us on Instagram at greenlightbklyn. Thanks for listening.